Hey there, this is Alex Klugen. I'm here from Toronto Home Experts. And before we dive into this month's market update, wanted to remind you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. All right, we're going to dive into the June 2024 real estate update here for Toronto. And this has been a very interesting month. So let's dive into these numbers. So, first and foremost, active listings. So, this isn't pretty. We're up 67% in active listings. So, what does this mean? What happens when we see inventories rise? Well, typically that means prices come down. But what's really interesting is we're actually not seeing that. So if you look at what's happening with average price, year over year, we're only down 1.6%, which, if you're looking at the way inventory is rising and there's not enough absorption in the market of current inventory levels, you would expect to see a greater decline year over year. Well, what's happening month over month? So from May to June, over the last 20 years, typically you do see a price decline because May is usually the market peak for the spring market, and typically it goes down a little bit over the June and summer months, and then comes back up in the fall. But what's interesting is this year we only saw a decrease of 0.3% month over month. So it's a little bit unusual to see this. And what can we attribute to what's happening? So first and foremost, I think prices are, to me, looking a little bit sticky. In other words, we're not seeing a lot of downward pressure on price, right? Yes, last month we had the first Bank of Canada interest rate declines. So, we saw the overnight lending rate being come down 25 basis points, and that saw a slight decline in fixed rate mortgages, and obviously variable rate mortgages came down 25 basis points, but it hasn't really had a huge impact on the real estate market. And honestly, it's too early to see an impact. But when it comes to price and when it comes to inventory, what we're seeing is there's a lot of supply of, or an increase in supply of condo units. So we're seeing, especially the smaller units, like the bachelor units, like units that are less than 500 square feet, they're taking up a very large percentage of the new and active listing for downtown Toronto. So that's playing a little bit of an impact. And why is that? Well, investors who may have purchased years ago may want to sell to reduce debt, or maybe they're seeing their mortgage payment increase because they've got a mortgage renewal this year and said, "Oh, I'm going to take some chips off the table and sell." So it's an interesting time that way. So what should we expect? Well, this summer is going to be a little bit I would say quieter, in the sense that we're not expecting a lot of activity. And it's usually the case over the summer months, right? Because people travel, kids are off school, like there isn't a ton of focus on real estate. So, but this fall, I think we're going to see some increase in traction, certainly because we're having another Bank of Canada meeting coming up in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to get some further direction from our governor to see where perhaps mortgage or interest rates may change later this year. So it'll be very interesting to monitor that. So, okay, so sales volume. Sales volume is a great metric because it gives you a pulse or a sense of where the market's at. And so our sales volume are down. So that's interesting because we have had, so actually, if you compare to this month last year, we're down 16%. And last June was the lowest record month on record for sales volume for June. Actually, sorry, it's the second lowest sales volume on record. 2022 was the lowest on record for the last 20 years. So, the last 3 years have been the lowest June sales volume. And interestingly, we're on track so last year was the lowest sales volume over the last 20 years for the whole year. And if we take our year-to-date sales, we were off to a really strong start in January, February, but things have really kind of leveled off over the last several months. We're actually now tracking to be below where we were last year, assuming obviously things stay consistent for the summer and the fall market. But we don't know. Like, obviously, we're still too early. Like, inflation numbers are going to play a huge part of this. Obviously, the direction of where mortgage rates are going, the economy, we're very much in flux. I think the economy's headed to possibly into recession territory if we're not there already. So how's that going to impact housing? This is all fascinating. This is a very interesting time real estate wise to see where we're going to possibly be later this year. But interestingly, prices have stabilized and stayed relatively sticky. So will that continue? The summer, you can't take too much from this data. Not to say that you should not tune into my July and forthcoming August market update videos, but typically those summer months, there's not much to really glean into other than maybe some glimpse of what to expect for the fall market. All right. Well, anyways, thank you so much for tuning in this month. Really appreciate all the questions and the support that we've been getting from the channel. Please keep the questions coming, and feel free to reach out, and we look forward to seeing you again next month. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye for now.